Hey guys, welcome to Strange Planet. I was gonna make a video about my second thoughts about Star Wars The Last Jedi. But then I started seeing all over the internet that everybody was doing that. So instead of doing that, I decided to make, now that the movie is over and it's out there and a lot of people know about it, 5 predictions for episode 9 coming in 2 years. Okay, now there's some predictions out there and stuff like that, but I've kind of like decided to take some of them I've kind of like gotten from friends and stuff like that, and other ones I've kind of like figured out myself after doing some studying of Star Wars lore. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Spoiler alert for those of you who have not seen The Last Jedi, because these predictions are connected to The Last Jedi. So, let's go for it. First prediction for episode 9 that J.J. Abrams is going to be making, that comes out in 2019. And that is Luke's Force Ghost. Yeah, I really believe that Mark Hamill will return in episode 9, but as a Force Ghost. Okay? Why not, right? He's extremely powerful in the Force, as we saw in, in The Last Jedi, with him doing that whole transition changing, like kind of like, I don't know, Padre Pio transfer essence kind of thing across the galaxy to face off with Kylo Ren without him being there. So yeah, I really believe that he'll be back for that. It's gonna be and why do I believe that? Well, because that's what Force Ghosts do. They return to give sound advice and to give our new current heroes, like he'll be appearing most likely to Rey, maybe even to Kylo Ren, just to mess with him, because he did say, right before he vanished in front of Kylo Ren's eyes, after Kylo Ren realized that he wasn't really there to face off with him, he went, "See you around, kid." In essence, I thought that was pretty cool, because he kind of like didn't give him the satisfaction of him actually being there, the way Vader had the satisfaction of striking down Kenobi in episode 4. So, that was quite a breaking away. Prediction 2. Darth Ren. I know what Kylo Ren said to Rey, especially in The Last Jedi, which was, put it all behind you, kill the past, the Jedi, the Sith, everything. But I thought of that title and I said, you know what, that actually has a nice ring to it. Darth Ren, why not? Maybe he will take on a Sith Lord title. They might change it. Look, one thing we learn about in films is that anything is possible. And if The Last Jedi showed us, shoot, anything is possible. Anything is on the table for whatever. This is my weakest prediction because I really don't expect it to happen. I just kind of like the ring to it. Darth Ren. The return of the Sith. Imagine that? But again, that's just little me making my little predictions because, things just don't work out the way they're supposed to. Prediction number 3. Rey teaches new Jedi. At the end of The Last Jedi, we saw those kids playing around with the Luke Skywalker, homemade Luke Skywalker action figure. I had the Canon one as a kid. We saw the master, this creature like chase him out of to go do their work and whatever. And so the kid goes to clean outside, and he kind of like used the Force to bring the broom to him. I don't know if you caught that. And he looks up and sees a shooting star. A lot of people believe that was the Millennium Falcon going into hyperspace. But the kid was looking up, and there was like a sense of, it's clear that Rian Johnson wanted to keep a sense of promise and hope to the new generation of Force users who most likely will rise as the new generation of Jedi. Because it was clear to us that The Last Jedi isn't going to be that way at all. That even Luke said it, that I won't be the last Jedi. That the Jedi will then rise again. So in order for Rey to teach these new generation of Jedi, like maybe, who knows, maybe that kid with the broom at the end, which I doubt. But maybe, just maybe, she will be the one to, there is no Grand Master, so the only one we have to rely on is her. Now, since she has already a strong Captain power to use the Force to do a lot of things with it, now that she has those books, and I don't know if you noticed this, but those ancient books that were in the Force tree on Actu, that had all the secrets of the original Jedi and everything, she took those books with her. They're in the Falcon. So, and they're in the Millennium Falcon. So the idea is that she's gonna like read into those books and kind of use it as, as the basis of her teaching kids. Call it lesson plans for you teachers out there. Prediction number 4, and this one's a little somber. Leia's funeral. I was trying to figure out, with the sad passing of Carrie Fisher last year, how this movie was going to turn out. Like, was they going to eliminate her character in The Last Jedi? Was they able to like write that in so that we could say goodbye to her? And they didn't, and I think there's a reason why they didn't. I found out she actually wrote some of these scenes in. For instance, the last chat she had with her brother Luke, and stuff. Now, that's one of them. Now, here's the thing. When we saw that she got blown out of the bridge of that ship with so many other guys, rest in peace, Admiral Akbar, she used the Force to kind of bring herself to the hull of the ship, and they were able to get her in. I don't know how they didn't get sucked out into space when they opened the door to let her in, but all right. And I think the reason why it was important to keep her character all the way through the end of the movie was so that she can have that moment with Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, as brother and sister speaking, even though Luke wasn't physically there. I'm still trying to come to terms with that. Nonetheless, I believe that the next film will maybe it could be in the opening crawl in episode 9, or sometime in the beginning of the movie, we're going to see a funeral, and it will be the funeral of General Leia Organa. Because they're trying, I can't think of any other way they can do this aside from her appearing as not a hologram, but a holographic image in a message to speak to the present people that she's hiding somewhere. I mean, besides that, there's no other way. Her funeral would probably be ideal, and it would give her a beautiful send-off. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's be clear. She was born in an asteroid. Nonetheless, I hope that we see a closing to the story arc of Leia Organa. Okay, my 5th and last prediction. I think you guys know what I'm going to say. The return of Supreme Leader Snoke. Now, for those of you who are just as shocked as I was to see him get sliced in half like it was no big deal by Kylo Ren using the Force, pointing the Skywalker lightsaber towards him, you need to understand something. Snoke, for him to be eliminated that easily, was almost an insult to intelligence. Like, it almost made me go, what was the point? That didn't make sense. So there must be a reason for it. And, I've been doing research, and I've read up on some stuff, and I found something quite interesting. Please allow me to quote the last words of Supreme Leader Snoke as he was speaking to Rey, as Kylo Ren appeared, at least, to be ready to kill her with his lightsaber. Kylo Ren says, "I know what I have to do." Snoke says to Rey, and I quote, "You think you can turn him, pathetic child. I cannot be betrayed. I cannot be beaten. I see his mind. I see his every intent. I see him turning the lightsaber to strike true. And now, foolish child, he ignites it and kills his true enemy." Now, I don't know about you, but that sounded like exactly what was happening at that moment when Kylo Ren was, with the Force, turning the Skywalker lightsaber towards Supreme Leader Snoke to strike true. In other words, Snoke knew that Kylo Ren was about to kill him, and slice him in half or whatever. And I was like, wow. Why would he do that if he knew it, first of all? You know? And some people have asked me, you know, what? Well, if he knew it, how come he looked surprised? Well, how would your face look if you got hit struck by a lightsaber? It's quite a possibility that other elements of the Legends portion of the Star Wars universe will be transferred over to canon. Kind of similar that the way Admiral Thrawn was in Legends and he got thrown over into canon in Star Wars Rebels. I don't know how many of you knew that, but if they could do that with a character, they could do that with anybody. I think they might have done this with Snoke in regards to the whole thing about an ancient Sith dark side practice called essence transfer. Darth Bane was the one who discovered it when he was looking through a holocron, remember this? Holocron of Darth, and I'll say the name wrong, Endu or something like that, who lived thousands of years before him, who learned the secret to immortality. Like, the idea is that when the body dies or is too frail to function, that the Sith Lord would transfer his essence, his soul, into another vessel, and it doesn't have to be necessarily a living being. It could be, you know, an inanimate object like this, like transfer their essence into that. That's what Darth Bane did in the canon thing. So, you know, if that happens, then who's to say that Supreme Leader Snoke doesn't know how to do that? If he's as old as he is, if he's as wise as he is, if he did indeed see the rise and fall of the Empire from a distance, if he indeed was the one who was so powerful in the Force, he created that connection between Rey and Kylo Ren throughout the movie, and they didn't know why they were seeing each other from across the galaxy, and he knew that the saber was turning towards him to strike true, right? That's the clue right there. Then why not? Why not he come back? Either through somebody else or, you know, maybe he cloned himself. You know, cloning is a big thing in Star Wars these days. Why not? And I'm not gonna, like, go and toy with the idea that he's Darth Plagueis. That's all over the place. In spite of whether or not he's Darth Plagueis, if Snoke is as old and as wise as they claim he is, and he's able to do this kind of stuff, if he's able to survive a lightsaber strike being cut in half and transfer his essence over to something or someone else or whatever, you don't necessarily have to be Darth Plagueis to do that. Though it would still be awesome if it turned out it was him all this time. Just would have just kind of knotted everything together into a nice little package in a bow. It's like, here, Star Wars. But anyway, those are my 5. What are your 5? Do you agree with any of them? Talk to me. Comment below and let me know about all of that. Also, be sure to tune into Wide Range Media with my friends Alex and Pablo. Check out the channel. I'll put the link below. And every Wednesday at 9 p.m., yours truly is on live with Alex and Pablo as we talk about all things entertainment, movies, TV, ratings, money, box office, you know, numbers, all of that kind of great fun stuff. If you're into that, please tune into Wide Range Media and check us out. Join us in conversation in the comments as we stream live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, guys, this is Ralph Perez from Strange Planet. Take care.